Welcome back to Showbiz Insider, your entertainment news roundup. Time now to buckle up for a rollercoaster ride of the biggest pop culture, film, music and community convention in the Middle East. Yes, this is Dubai's version of Nerdvana, and with some of the coolest celebs and craziest fans, Comic-Con was just a little bit insane. It's official, pop culture, superheroes and super geeks have taken over Dubai. From Deadpool to Darth Vader, it's been 5 years since The Force Awakened, and the mission for the masses is to just embrace it.
Think about comic books. The Amazing Spider-Man, The Incredible, you describe who you are and then you name your title. So my existence, my delivery, Daryl McDaniels is my name, but I became the devastating mic-controlling DMC. Thor, the mighty Thor, right, is the son of Odin. So for me, hip-hop was easy. I'm become the son of Byford, brother of Al. Banner's my mother and runs my pal. It's McDaniels, not McDonald's. These rhymes are Daryl's, those burgers are Ronald's. I ran down my family tree, my mother, my father, my brother, and me. I was just pretending to be like Thor.
Yes, DMC, that's just the way it is. And it's growing, guys. So Arafat, we're expecting 70,000 fans down here this weekend. Let's talk a little bit about the huge growth of Comic-Con over 5 years.
It's been pretty exceptional. We're very, very grateful. We started first year, 15,000 people, which is not bad for a first-time event. But yes, last year we touched 54,000. This year, from all likelihood, from what we can see, we will reach our target of close to 70,000 people.
Let's talk about the rise of pop culture in the Middle East. What is it about pop culture that everybody just loves over here?
I think it just transcends boundaries. You know, there's something for everyone. But I remember back in 2012, well, it was 2011 when we were planning it, and 2010, and we were going to people and we were saying, hey, we want to do a Comic-Con, and they didn't understand. They were like, what are you talking about? You want to bring comics here? And then we had this line that we would use on people, and they were like, oh, so did you like Harry Potter? I was like, oh, I love that series. And, oh, did you like Avatar? I was like, oh, it was such a cool movie. The 3D was wonderful. I was like, okay, one was about wizards and one was about 10-foot-tall aliens. You are a geek. You are a fan.
Celebrity guests included Hollywood stars and cult legends. Top billing went to Game of Thrones star Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, who talked season 6 and favorite characters.
I think when we started out on Game of Thrones, I mean, my biggest hope in the beginning was that we would make it to season 3, because on a personal level, I knew that for Jaime Lannister, there was a big arc that would happen in those seasons. So that was just so exciting. What's unique, I guess, is that it's all over the world and it's still difficult to grasp in a way. I think I'd like to come back as Hodor. I remember the lines. I don't know. I think that, favorite characters on Game of Thrones. I think I share it with so many friends. I love Tyrion, and I think Peter Dinklage does such an amazing job. I would be a strange choice for Tyrion, but he has some great scenes. I think all the Lannisters are great characters. The Cersei, love that character. I couldn't pick one. Let's say Hodor or the dragon. I'll come back as a dragon.
The diverse panel of celebs featured wrestling superstar Randy Orton, actress Veronica Taylor, and hip-hop legend DMC, who's moving into comic strips.
When I started doing this comic book, my 2 editors who assist me with the comic book, they say, D, don't you know that you're really like the superheroes that inspired your life since you was a kid? And I was like, what do you mean? A lot of the superheroes, they got alter egos. I'm mild-mannered Daryl McDaniels from Hollis, Queens, New York, but I transform into the mighty king of rock. I wear glasses like Clark Kent. And like all of my favorite superheroes, Spider-Man, Batman, even Superman, I'm adopted. So I can relate to the majority of superheroes because a lot of the stuff that we see in our favorite characters, the reason why we love them and are attracted to them in the first place, because they're really parts of us.
Producer scriptwriter Max Landis compared international cosplay scenes.
This con is compared to cons in America. You know, I was her. I was a cosplayer up until I was about 17. And when you come here, you see, in LA, there's you know, in stateside, there's a cosplay community that's very exclusionary and very intense and competitive. And here you see girls in hijabs with Darth Vader masks. I mean, like, that's moving. That's incredible.
Brit comedian Nick Frost spoke about the effect of social media and typecasting.
Now, the amount of people's Twitter followers are taken into account in terms of people getting jobs, which seems crazy, but if you have, you know, 5 million followers, essentially you can take a lot of the movie's budget for publicity. You know, it's going to be very costly for a studio to pay to advertise to 5 million people. But if you can tweet out to your 5 million followers, hey, film's out today, you know, I think there's going to be clauses coming into contracts where you pay for tweets, essentially.
And sci-fi actress Summer Glau was quizzed on reuniting with former Firefly co-stars for the upcoming episode of Castle.
It was amazing. I think it's been a long time coming. I've only been asking him to have me on the show for like 7 years. So I was really excited to be back on set with him. He's like my big brother, and he gave me a hard time, but we had so much fun.
Not forgetting icon Christopher Lloyd, who brought us Back to the Future, and the Kingslayer himself, who taught movie-making logistics and the business of storytelling.
The difference in movies is really about the budget, and that goes across borders. It's you know, at the end of the day, you have the camera and you have some people in front and some people behind the camera. We have fairly large movies in Scandinavia as well, but of course, when you do a big budget American movie, that's just the logistics are different. But the core of it is really the same. You're telling a story. I like to do both, but I really enjoy the small projects because there's something about what I love about movie making is, you know, you get together as a group of people when you're together for like 2-3 months and you tell a story. And when you're a small group, you get to know everyone, and everyone has to take direct responsibility for telling the story. That's difficult when you have a crew of 300 people. But I enjoy both.
So they were the stars, and here are Dubai's very own fantasy superheroes, prepping to create main stage madness and test their geek worthiness at the famous cosplay competition.
My name is Hayes. The character is Darius from League of Legends. It's a really good game. It's an arena type based game.
Hi, my name is Farah. I'm from Bahrain. I'm cosplaying as Katarina from League of Legends. Katarina, she's like the strongest character in the game.
With these three in one team, I bet they can win any game, to be honest.
I'm cosplaying Neptunia from Hyperdimension Neptunia.
My character is Kaneki Ken, but my real name is Aid Bautista. These were really hard and difficult to make, since these were over 878 scales.
Well, my character isn't one specific person, it's a mix. I was the White Queen in Alice in Wonderland and slash the Joker, which I think is, you know, the creative touch really changes the character, makes it unique, which is why.
And my character is Leona from League of Legends. Basically, she's a female character, and I made him to a male character.
Talking cosplay, ever wondered who created the ultimate cozy? Darth Vader himself? Well, meet Brian Liu.
I sculpted the original Darth Vader. The mask and the helmet was done from a little tiny sketch I got from John Mollo, the wardrobe designer. Just a small line sketch from one angle, and then I used that to create Vader from. They moulded Dave Prowse and cast him in plaster, and I sculpted Vader on top of that, knowing then that would fit back on Dave Prowse. They wanted a figure to look menacing. That's basically what I created.
From Star Wars to comic collector wars, Metropolis displayed millions of dollars worth of vintage comic books. So Vincent, Metropolis Comics, some of the most rare and expensive comic books in the world. Introduce us to some of your classic pieces.
Well, I brought a lot of great books to the show this year. I was really excited to come back to Dubai. The fans here are so awesome, and I wanted to bring a lot of comic books that I think they would really like. So I brought stuff that's very old, from the golden age of comic books. Here is Batman #1. This is from 1940. And this comic book is the first time Batman was in his own self-titled comic book, and it has the first appearance of his arch enemy, the Joker, and his sometimes on-again, off-again love interest, Catwoman.
So this is really, really iconic. How much would a piece like this go for?
This comic book is $75,000 US.
What else have we got here in some of the vintage classics?
Well, a new classic, so it's 25 years old, is the first appearance of Deadpool. Deadpool just became the highest grossing R-rated film of all time and incredibly popular. I'm sure it's just as popular here as it is in the States. And this is the first time Deadpool was ever in a comic book.
So the comic comes first, but then it's movie mayhem. The Cine Club screened exclusive trailers and classic genre films. Bilal, the region's first animated feature film, was revealed. Plus, we had sneak previews of locally produced The Worthy, which is to be released in October.
The Worthy is the latest Imagination film. It's directed by Emirati Ali Mustafa, which is his second film with Imagination. The film is a post-apocalyptic thriller that's set in the future in a world where all the water supplies were contaminated, and there's a small group of survivors that have to fight a strange group and many other things to survive, and we're trying to find out who's worthy to live in this world.
Gaming geeks headed to the Master Zone to test their skills with tournaments and immersive experiences. It's scary, but they're actually living the game. And Mortal Kombat revealed their latest offerings.
Mortal Kombat X came out last year, so it's technically the 10th edition of Mortal Kombat. Give and take, because there's a couple of other games that got out of the storyline and have different words. But so this year we got Mortal Kombat XL. It's basically all of last year's new content, all the characters that came out, and this year's new content. So we have 8 new contacts, all the new costumes, all the new DLC, all the new modes that have been added, and obviously a couple of updates that came out last year to fix the game, a couple of bugs here and there. This year we decided, Warner Brother, the maker of Mortal Kombat, decided to do another edition of, so basically season 2 if you want, of the Mortal Kombat X Cup, and they called it the Mortal Kombat XL Cup, obviously. So we are hosting the Middle East qualifiers and finals. 2 winners will be crowned as winners, and they will fly out to Sweden in June to represent the Middle East, obviously, and in a huge international finals where other players qualifying from England, from Scotland, from Austria, from Spain, from different other countries in the world and regions, and basically to crown who's the ultimate, combatant.
And to supersize your skills, there was indoor ziplining and workshops with the pros in animation, game development, acting, and improv. And artist Ali included fresh Emirati manga-style power.
We all know anime, but we want to create our own anime with our own cultures. So our cultures are all about jinn. We all know about Omid Duwais and some other jinn characters in our culture. So we wanted to make the world know about jinn.
Yep, this year's Comic-Con craziness was intense, and with some of the coolest celebs and local creative talent. Superheroes, super fans, and super geeks. Yep, the force was strong with this one. So mission complete. Comic-Con was massive. And that brings us the end of this edition of Showbiz Insider and indeed April events in Dubai. Hope you loved the show, guys. Remember, stay in touch. We've got our Facebook page, which is Showbiz Insider Zoe, and we've also got our Twitter feed, which is @Zoe Showbiz. That's for all your international Hollywood gossip and the big stories in film, fashion, music, and the arts. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.